Crypto Warriors, Stagnation,
Champions.
top of morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, man. Dropping over back in this piece. It's a beautiful thing. Let's see who's in the chat with us, man. And we'll get this thing going. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is chilling this morning. Let's see. By the way, let us know if you can hear our audio. We just want to make sure before we go through a whole show. We know what everybody's saying. Oh man, that's funny. Alright, so we already have about 3 people with us in here. L, the gunner, man. I told you, bro. This man is standing on top of the home base. We cannot be stopped. Good morning, champion. Hope you're feeling well today.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Today, of course, we're talking about this authoritarianism situation. And well, where we are in the United States. You know, when we came to this country, what was it? 2004.
I came in 97.
You came in 97, right? America has always been this the land of the free.
Yep.
Right, exactly that. And this is the same reason why a lot of people come to this country. So, but where are we today? You know,
are we free?
Exactly. We'll be taking a dive into this, right, and seeing where we stand, because it's unfortunate, but the way things are going is truly disappointing.
Do I get to sing again? I want to be free.
Yeah, actually, that was a good one, bro. You know, that was, hey, you hit them notes, man. That was cool. Yes, we want to be free. And this is what Bitcoin is all about, right?
Yes, sir.
Freedom. So we're going to be taking a look at, I guess, let's begin with the definition of authoritarianism.
Yep.
A very long word, a mouthful to say. And then we're going to look at some stats, right? And some of the things that are going on right now. And we'll also see some patterns that have happened in other countries, right? Or just some of those defining things that indicate that we're looking at authoritarianism here in America. It's interesting because a lot of times people don't think it's going to happen to us until it happens, right? And that's just the way things go. Usually when you hear of authoritarianism, share screen, sir, you think of, you know, somewhere like China, Cuba, Russia, so on and so forth.
Venezuela,
etc. But let's be clear on what the definition of authoritarianism is, right? So we see here, this is shout out to dictionary.com, right? A trusty source.
Straight from the dictionary.
Favoring complete obedience or subjection to authority as opposed to individual freedom. Of or relating to a governmental political system, principle or practice in which individual freedom is held as completely subordinate to the power or authority of the state, centered either in one person or a small group that is not constitutionally accountable to the people. It sounds very much like, I mean, maybe I'm tripping, but you guys let us know.
Oh my God, that's so on point, man.
It sounds very much like we're there.
It sounds so much like those 3-letter words. Sounds so much like what happened during COVID.
Exactly.
Extreme, straight on, like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You have no word, no say. Just do it.
Just do it. Do as we say. Don't question it.
Do it.
Double O, what are your thoughts on this, man? What do you have?
Well, I'm sure that's one of the reasons why a lot of you guys saw that title and you're watching this right now. The trends and the growing trends are there.
Right.
It's just that people just think that, oh, it's okay because of X, Y, and Z is going on, and we need this little small group of people to guide the way.
Yeah.
But did you elect or did you vote for those decisions? Those are the questions that we're asking. And we're starting to see a lot of that misinformation about Bitcoin, especially with the Federal Reserve now creating their own educational program, teaching you about, what cryptocurrencies are and what Bitcoin are. And then you look at the content of those information and it's total misinformation.
Absolutely. You said something very interesting there. Having the people sort of voting for,
Yes.
right, whatever ideas come up, discussing those ideas. I don't know if you're watching this, and maybe it's a dated thing now,
Yep.
but maybe you remember as well. But there was this channel called C-SPAN. You remember C-SPAN?
System was great back in the day.
C-SPAN was incredible.
Yeah.
On C-SPAN, you could watch legislators debate multiple ideas for hours and hours, discussing things. I think it was very informative for the general public, right? And through those debates, right, you kind of have a build-up into the point where, if something is agreed upon, right, and by the majority, then there is a vote, and then we can maybe make it law.
Yep.
But it seems like these days, that is just out of the window.
Actually, CISPAN almost got defunded.
Oh,
As a
really?
matter of fact, yeah. So, and then you don't get to see all the legislative decisions being made anymore. They do it
Right.
like literally late at night now.
Yeah.
It's no longer during the day where you, the citizens, can discern and see the arguments from both sides. A lot of these arguments are done much more later in the evening, not during the day, and you don't get to watch all the decisions that are being made anymore, which sucks.
Well, all the entertaining stuff is in the evening as well. So, do you want to watch Real Housewives, or do you want to watch some old people debate law?
And Real Housewife is not impacting my life. Law,
Exactly.
the legislation
So-
that they're making is impacting the gas prices right now.
Exactly. Right. So, and that's the other part about it. Getting people to a point where they can accept some boredom. I guess that's what they would. That's the other thing. Everything has been defined as boring now, where it's like it seems that anything that is not
On
useful,
TikTok.
right? Exactly, is boring. People's attention spans are the size of a pea these days, unfortunately. But I think we can make it there. I have faith in humanity.
Yes.
Okay. I have faith in humanity.
In you.
Yeah, faith in humanity. Right. So cruising on here, a lot of things that we've seen coming from the point of C-SPAN, we are now at a point where these people just seem to be generating information, manipulating numbers, switching things to fit whatever narrative that they need at the time.
Yep.
One of such things is the recession,
Yeah.
for example.
Before we go to recession,
Right.
I want to read this quick stats here. It's from the Quinnipiac University survey. It reveals that 76% of respondents of this survey think that political instability within the country, within the US,
Right.
is a bigger danger to the United States than external advisory. That's minus that balloon that just flew over us.
Hey, this is the thing. If you're not together within your own country, right, then you cannot take on outside forces.
Yep.
There is this whole theory of subversion,
Yep.
right, and how other countries plant in ideas into other countries to change their ways of thinking, separate their society, and this is once the people are separated, it's divide and conquer,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And we've seen, it's like a thing with spies and everything like that, where they change the whole culture, from behind the scenes.
From the inside.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. So it says amazingly, this suggests that Americans recognize that we are a bigger threat to our own democracy. Interestingly, Biden thinks that global warming is a bigger threat to humanity than whatever it is that they're doing.
All the
right now.
misinformation and the authoritarianism and the change of money actions going on right now.
Exactly. Right.
Actually, as a matter of fact, if we fix money, we're going to fix global warming. Straight to the point.
Yeah, I think if we fix money, we fix a lot of things too.
Yep.
Yeah, so I agree with that. So definition of recession, double O. I know that this was recently changed. What is this about?
America!
Hey, man, we'll change what a recession is.
Well, in the U.S.
Yeah. If you share screen, we'll land on
Yes,
this page.
yes, let's do that. In the U.S., right, A recession is defined as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the market, lasting more than a few months. Remember that, a few months. Normally visible in the real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and also retail sales.
Right.
So, they say we don't have a recession, right? So let's go look at the data. So what we're looking at here right now is what happened last year. For some reason, the definition of recession got changed all of last year. But we're looking here in the GDP numbers that we did have a recession for Q1 and Q2,
Yeah.
but that was covered up. That was a quick recovery in Q3, but quickly by Q4 we were slowing back down again.
Right.
A quarter is 3 months, literally 3 months. It says a few months in the definition. Usually it's
Yeah,
2 months.
it's two. It was two. It's been two forever. It's been two for, this is what, when the smart people decided to define what a recession was, this is what they went by.
Yeah.
And it was this up until the recent time where there is this, I guess, confusion of what everything is, right?
The definition is right there. So they change it from 2 months to a few months. Even with a few months, we still see the number going down. It's right there.
Yeah, it's still going down. And what are they going to change it to? A few years now?
As a matter of fact, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that even income went down.
Let's see, which chart is that?
Right there
there
in
is
the personal income.
Yes.
November, December.
Income went down, but it seems spending went up. Well, at least the cost of
The
living
debt.
definitely.
Yeah, cost of living went up.
Exactly. Which, I mean, I think that is very clear that we're in a recession. And how do you just redefine these things and act like people are stupid?
Because in an authoritarian government, you can do that. You can mislead your people and they're just supposed to listen to you. And we're trying to tell Americans that this is happening, but everybody thinks everything is fine and dandy and that our current president should run for a second term.
Well, it's just some people, because I don't think most Americans actually on board with this, man. I think it's, because these days you have, there's this whole idea of like you can identify as anything. It seems that they're taking the same sort of thing and applying it to the economy, right? Because what you're looking at now is just the economy identifying as not in a recession.
Yep.
Identifying as a healthy environment for growth, apparently.
Yep.
Then we look at inflation as well, which
Yep.
has been rising.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that the numbers on that as well have been manipulated.
Tweak, manipulated, move the goalposts.
Exactly. So we see that the annual inflation rate in the US slowed for a 6 straight month to 6.5% in December of 2022.
Yep.
Right. However, even though they're saying it's slowed here,
Ask the Americans themselves.
exactly.
This is the data that they're giving us, right?
Right.
But if you ask, if you married out there, ask your wife how much you bought egg last week. I just gassed the car this morning. Gas price is up 20 cents already. And this is Q1 2023.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that inflation is going down, but gas prices is playing Tetris on me?
Exactly.
Egg prices has gone up from paying I think $3.99 for 24 to like paying almost $6.99 for 24 a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
That's if you're trying to eat healthy. I'm sure people can get some $2.99 eggs out there if you're eating those white eggs.
Listen, man, you can swing by McDonald's. McDonald's is a pillar of our society.
Wait a second, that is the real inflation rate right there. I remember when I was a kid, you can eat McDonald's for $1.99
Yeah.
and be full. Now $6.99. You're eating McDonald's, the sandwich size is smaller, the french fries are smaller, but you're still getting that big old can of sugar trying to kill you.
Exactly. Here's a good example as well. It's the one that I've been thinking about. The Arizona iced tea.
Yes,
That has
99.
been $1 forever, right? And recently, I think they moved it up to like 105 or something like that.
That guy fought hard though.
Dude,
That guy did his best.
Dude, that thing was more stable than the dollar.
It was.
Legit. It's incredible.
It's
right?
deflationary.
It's deflationary. Well, look at it here, man. According to Biden, inflation isn't a talking point.
Well, this was early last year, and it's really trying to avoid talking about inflation.
Yeah.
Biden speaks on Thursday, by the way, and I think Powell speaks later on this week as well. The god of fiat speaks later on this week about the job numbers and employment numbers and so on and so forth. And then Biden follows up with his state of the whatever you call it,
State of the Union.
State of the Union speech. Question is he going to talk about inflation? He does everything
Well,
to
inflation
avoid
is not
talking
a
about
talking
it.
point, man. The
Yeah.
man has already told you, man. This
Yeah.
is an authoritarian state. Just listen to what he has to say.
Yeah.
Just believe it. There is no inflation, right?
Yep.
However, it does not change the fact that nearly 60% of Americans say they worry a great deal about inflation, according to a new Gallup poll. But, it doesn't matter because Biden is going to let you guys know that there is no inflation.
This was
right?
March of last year, and things have gotten worse since then.
They're still on the same thing.
Yep.
They're still on the same thing. It hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse.
Yep.
Right. So that's why this article is still relevant.
Yep. You have Charlie Munger coming out and Ray Dalio coming out supporting China. What do you think is going on?
That's the weird thing about it. A lot of these people have been sympathetic with China. The people were supposed to be American, pro-American, but the average family is spending $250 a month more than they were in 2020. And I think that has only increased to this point. And of course, for middle-aged households, that's up 3 or 5. You go to the math. This has not gone down since this article was written.
Sure. They're about to find out Q1 2023, man. Inflation has come back up.
Hey, exactly.
All the unemployment, all the people that have been laid off, Dell just laid off about 6,000 people this morning.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. The job numbers is also not accurate. So it's what do you believe in an environment like this?
They're just telling us lies.
Yeah. So it's very interesting how this all goes down. Let's do the comment here.
Yeah.
Crypto side says, good morning to everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning to you. What else do we have? We have Rick. I don't know how to pronounce the last part of the name.
Ricky Ninja!
Yes. No, it's G.
G.
There we go.
Ricky Ninja.
Yeah. Crypto Warrior says boom.
Square.
Green. Yeah.
By the
Welcome
way,
to the chat, sir. You know what I mean? This man is in here, man.
By the way, like, subscribe if you're watching this right now.
Oh, sorry. That was BK Crypto. Jeez.
BK Crypto, yeah.
That
That's the
was-
champion. It's
Yeah.
always here every Monday.
He's a crypto warrior. And of course, Jake Fever says assets aren't inflating. So I guess inflation is relevant.
As a matter of fact, Powell said that he wants to destroy your value. He said it. Jobs gotta go down. Real estate gotta go down because I guess he gave all his buddies free money to go buy up all the residential property, which then increased the value of those. So he's trying to crash that market as well. How do you give a non-governmental entity that we didn't elect power to just destroy your value? Folks, this is why with Bitcoin, yo.
This is true. The Federal Reserve is not a government entity.
No, it's not.
It's just a rogue a rogue squad just doing whatever.
Destroying your value left and right.
Whatever they feel like is appropriate
Yep.
at the time for them. So if we look at this here, this is more about wrong screen. Give me a second here. Let me switch over. We have a chart here, and this just shows the
Where do we stand?
the United States, right, and where it stands in this, I guess you could say the sliding scale of authoritarianism.
Sliding down scale.
So you see, the United States has fallen below its traditional peers on key democratic indicators. Is what this is showing here, including executive elections, freedom from improper political influence, and equal treatment of minority groups.
Democracy, power for the people,
By the people. Exactly. The minority groups thing, I think that is a little bit more complex than they make it seem here, but let's move on. Because if you look at people like Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder, they have some other takes on these things that are interesting. But again, the level of manipulation is intense. We're not going to go down that road today. Let's just take a look at this one here. So executive elections, right? The most recent U.S. presidential election was marred by outgoing incumbents' illegitimate attempt to overturn the result. So when there's elections and there is doubts about the quality of elections, that is a problem for sure.
Twitter files revealed that, yo.
Exactly. Having social media companies suppress speech from one angle or the other.
And then blame it on Russia and China.
Exactly. Look at political domination, and they're sliding below Brazil, which is insane. Political domination. The U.S. have been troubled by the rise in intimidation and violence, most notably the January 2021 mob attack on Congress. I mean, that is a clear state of people
Frustration.
Yes, in frustration, which would prompt something like that. And, it does not get better from there if it's
Yeah.
not quickly resolved,
Yeah.
right? And of course, equal treatment of minority groups. The reason I say this is really complicated is because when it comes to the minority groups, I think that there's a lot of manipulation of the minority groups in America as
Yep.
well. We're used as a pawn in the game, right? When something happens to a black person, then all of a sudden you have someone like Al Sharpton show up on TV. But the reality of the matter is, man, if you ask me, man, I think Al Sharpton is a cancer to the black society. But that's just me.
If you know, you know.
Hey,
Are we sharing the screen?
we're
Yeah.
double screening here. We need more
Okay.
screens, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyway, actually, we can go back to let's fix this one here. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back.
Let's see. Yeah, in there. That's the one.
All right.
So, looking at some other key points here, right? Challenges within established democracies. We have undermining the rule of law. When this happens, obviously we can see that democracy is weakening, is falling.
This is not propaganda, guys. You guys can see it on the daily. We
Yeah,
don't
we
even
all
have
see
to
this.
mention it.
We all see this, right? Attacking media freedom, right? We know that media is clearly garbage and of course,
Controlled by Fox News, CNN, CNBC, all misinformation.
perverting elections and discrimination and mistreatment of migrants.
We
Well,
see all this in the US.
We see all of this happening.
So these are all signs
It
of
is-
authoritarianism growing up,
Exactly.
growing.
Because there is not really a clean solution that these people come to. They just tend to push for whatever they feel is beneficial to them at that point in time. And of course, there's all the lobbyists and everything else like that. Right now, I think this kind of where we can jump into something like the vaccine authoritarianism, if you will. Is essentially
I
what
think
it
it's a
is.
great sign of authoritarianism because not only did we have our elected officials
Right.
following the music of the big corporations or the big pharmaceutical without taking the time to listen to their citizens. It was all focused on what the big pharma wants.
Yeah.
And if you can share the screen for this, I can just share screen
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick.
Sure, you can do it.
There's a section for follow the money, because at the end of the day, if you want to really investigate, follow the money, and that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is here. Nakamoto followed the money so much is he realized that it's the money that needs to get fixed. If we fix the money, then all these pervert ways of controlling your mental state or your health can be fixed. So in this article, the guy said, hey, okay, let's follow the money and where the money went. $1 billion went into research. These pharmaceutical companies got protection from the government. They cannot be sold even if they get this all wrong. It's crazy how much money went into the vaccines. And now we're starting to realize, again, thanks to the Twitter files, that there was actually all the researchers fighting back against their own systems, saying, guys, let's slow down here. This thing is not being done accurately. As a matter of fact, we met someone during one of those big conferences that we went to that worked at a lab that said, these vaccines are coming out.
I remember this.
And they're
I
not being
remember this.
quality checked.
Yeah.
Like literally people are going to die because the vaccines are not being produced equally.
Yeah, exactly. I remember this. She spoke about this, and it was definitely
quite
interesting
revealing.
to get her take on it. But I think this is why if you look over to Thailand, currently would you say the princess of Thailand, she took the jab, and she went into a coma. And they've been lying about this forever, but recently the leadership over in Thailand is now very clear on the fact that their daughter essentially has been in a coma for years now because of this jab, and they're talking about nullifying this agreement they had with
World
Pfizer.
Bank, yep.
Yeah, with Pfizer over the whatever, not being held responsible for the consequences of this. So if they can nullify that agreement, then I think Pfizer has some problems coming their way for sure, right?
And the biggest kaboom of them all,
Twitter files.
I think it is the biggest.
Listen, man, this man spent a bunch of money,
Billions
to
of
buy Twitter
dollars.
just to reveal a bunch
Just to reveal the misinformation, the growing authoritarianism in the US.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
war against Elon Musk is major, and I think Twitter is breaking that.
Yeah, definitely. I think
It's
he's
decentralizing
he's
media.
using it as a great tool to fight back against all of these people as well. Because when you look at the way things are set up, right, these guys use mainstream media to push their agenda, right? So they could demonize Elon. You saw them essentially demonize Tesla for the longest of times.
Yep.
People shorting Tesla forever,
Yep.
claiming that it's a horrible company, while in the same breath saying that they care about the environment. When you see BlackRock against Tesla, but they're pushing ESG.
They're pushing buying Ford and Chevy and
Exactly.
GM with the big ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Truck.
It does not. It does not add up. It does not add up. And so I think hey, it's interesting that Elon decided to take Twitter as a way to fight back. Now we're over time. Let's wrap this up here. We'll just
Yes,
read a few
sir.
comments and we'll wrap this up here. Now, let's see, what do we have? BK Crypto says these people don't care. Facts. And this is exactly why we all need to be able to control our own value. At least for us, we believe that Bitcoin is the way where we can control our own value so that we do not have to participate in the radical system.
Some people say gold.
Gold,
But
Peter Schiff.
if you come to Africa, you will find out that gold is not as rare as they tell you it is.
Not rare, man. If you,
It's just manipulated.
yeah, if you keep digging, keep wrecking the environment, and you keep finding gold. So I guess it's maybe at some point we can mine all the gold on Earth. I don't know if we have that capability, but it is what it is. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too.
Fantastic.
Have a fantastic day too, sir, as we're wrapping this up here. And of course, last but not least, man, forget taking the jab. Listen.
We're forced to take the jab at the job, man. To keep our jobs, we have to take the jab. Now I'm like shaky and
I
scared.
will not die from the jab. Okay. Yeah, I will not die from the jab. I will live to see the people who perpetrated all this madness see justice or fail in the hands of Bitcoin. Because especially now that I'm drinking this little healthy drink here. But don't worry about it. We'll tell you guys that's a project
Tell you
we're
about
working
it.
on. We're
Coming
working
to
on
you
it.
soon.
Amazing product. Yes, but we're working on that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. It's absolutely incredible. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your week. Follow us. Okay, subscribe to our channel first of all. Subscribe to Gentlemen of Crypto here. Subscribe to
Push the
Stack.
button.
Okay, we're on Twitter, StackFin. Facebook, I think it's only Warren Buffett that is there right now, but you can follow us on Facebook as well. Instagram, StackFin, and of course Spotify. L is jab free, and his body feels great. Tell you the truth. I believe you, sir.
Good for
Because
you,
I can
man.
tell you this: I am not jab free, and I don't feel great.
I don't feel great.
Ever since I took that thing, okay,
I almost died taking that thing too,
something is
man.
going on in my chest. It's this area here, and I don't know what it is, but
We'll survive. We're here.
Hey, man, we got it easy. Let's wrap it up. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, praise and out.